Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning and happy Wednesday to everybody. I am just getting to the office this morning and wanted to visit with everybody for just a couple minutes. I'm not going to keep everybody long. I just felt this morning, since it's Wonderful Wednesday, that we just visit for a couple minutes to give you some updates because I haven't done that in a while. So, first update, thank you to everybody that has booked a fantastic trip here in the month of March. We have been busy, beyond busy, and we were kind of prepared for that once travel started opening, but it's been crazy busy, so it's a good thing. We're not complaining at all. We've been working pretty much 7 days straight to keep up with the requests and the bookings. So keep them coming. That's all I can say about that. It's wonderful. We're so super happy that everybody is getting out and feeling more comfortable in travel. So some updates first, and then I'll let you guys know where is everybody traveling to. So of course, the latest question on everybody's agenda is when is cruising going to resume? A lot of our clients, I want to say about 60% of our base clients, started as clients with us through the cruise industry. I would say probably about 40% of those clients have shifted their gears and are looking at domestic or Caribbean adventures versus their cruise adventures to replace that travel component. Some people are still hanging on for cruising to resume. So a couple great things have happened in the past week. At least I think they're great. They're a step in the positive direction. River cruising, let's start with river cruising. So American Steamboat and American Cruise Lines have started their sailings on American rivers in North America last week. So those are typically ships that are under 200 passengers, so they can sail from U.S. ports, with the CDC no sail order that's contingent on vessels that are under 200 or over 200 passengers. American Cruise Lines, no, American Steamboat, excuse me, did mandate that for now, passengers had to be vaccinated, had to show proof of vaccination to cruise. Now that is not popular with a lot of our clients, but you have to remember that American Steamboat's typical clientele is also an older clientele. So keep that in mind. And nothing is permanent at this point. Everything is so fluid in the travel industry right now. So the other thing that came out last week which is great news, and actually Royal Caribbean added to that, is that Royal Caribbean announced and Celebrity that they will resume sailings in the Caribbean in June. And yesterday, Royal Caribbean actually added to that they have added a ship to Bermuda. They'll be sailing out of Bermuda and doing a Caribbean itinerary, 7-day, which includes Coco Cay, their private island. They will be sailing out of the Bahamas, again, which will be a Caribbean itinerary, and will sail in the Bahamas. And then Celebrity will be sailing a St. Martin to St. Martin itinerary in the Southern Caribbean. So the bookings actually open today for those, and they're limited. It's about 6 to 7 cruises per port. So the itineraries are limited. And of course, all the safety protocols still have to stay in place. The biggest one, not so much because of the cruise line, but because of the islands that they're sailing to. The contingency is a guest that sails on these itineraries has to be either A, fully vaccinated, B, show proof of a negative PCR test within 72 hours of boarding, or they have to show proof of having recovered from COVID within the last 6 months or so. Then on top of that, you do have to show whatever island, whatever itinerary that you're sailing, the requirements per island. And Royal Caribbean will assist with those, requests and restrictions, in Royal Caribbean and Celebrity based on those island restrictions and requirements. So it's great news. The topics were hot this morning in our Facebook groups about people getting ready. My fellow travel agents are already sitting there looking through the itineraries. They've got people ready to book. A lot of people do not want to get those vaccinations, and that's understandable. A lot of people have been getting them. But remember, it's not just vaccination. You can also show proof of negative PCR, or show that you have recovered from COVID in the past. So, don't write everything off the plate just yet. Those are wonderful itineraries. It is a very positive step in the right direction. So let's flip to CDC no sail order for North American ports for resumption of sailing in our U.S. waters, U.S. ports. Things are very much at a standstill with the CDC no sail order. The state of Alaska, in Senate hearings this week, basically, for lack of a better terminology, cornered the CDC director on, what's the timeline? When are we going to see the resumption of test sailings and sailings in U.S. ports? Because the state of Alaska, it's 60% of their income, the tourism income comes from cruise lines. So imagine the devastation last year. They had nothing. And basically, they need to know whether this season is going to be a complete wash, and what businesses are going to have to do to prepare for that. So it's a legitimate question. The CDC's response was not clear. They indicated that there are other agencies involved, such as the Department of Transportation, the U.S. Coast Guard, the Health Department. And so there was no clear response given to that. But the advocacy and the lobbyists and the travel industry are very much active in getting that response, so that we have a clear timeline on when cruising can resume in U.S. ports and what needs to be done with that. So hold on. I know a lot of people are still holding on to those FCCs. A lot of people are watching to see whether cruise lines and U.S. ports are going to require vaccinations or what the requirements are going to be. Are we going to be in masks all the time? Right now, it's nobody knows. And those three words that I really despise in the English language, I don't know, those are still the standard right now. There is no clear guidance, and there are no clear answers right now. So a lot of our clients are switching gears. We have completely switched gears. As I said just a couple minutes ago, about 60 to 65% of our client base prior to COVID was cruising, because we're positioned beautifully between two major ports. Well, a lot of people have now switched gears. If they're comfortable traveling, I want to say probably about 45 to 50% of our client base right now is heading to the Caribbean. They're going to Costa Rica. They're going to the Dominican Republic. They're going to Mexico. They're going to Jamaica. It's across the board. I think the fear of testing positive while in country has, it's decreased significantly, because the percentage rate of people actually testing positive while in country before their departure back to the United States is so small. The figures are anywhere from 0.0% to 0.09%. And that's a super small number. And all the resorts are still taking the steps to assist clients and and guests that we send there with free testing, free or reduced stays while in the resort if they do test positive. And airlines have still waived change fees. So everybody is working together to get people to the Caribbean, and it's terrific. We have clients that are leaving within the next 6 weeks to Cancun, to the Dominican Republic, to Costa Rica, and each destination has different requirements, but we're here to help you guide through those requirements. I myself, some of you followed my journey to St. Lucia, and I will be honest, there were some hoops to jump for that particular trip. The PCR test had to be within a 5-day window of travel. The return trip, I had to have, documentation, travel authorization from St. Lucia. So there were some things that had to be dotted and T's to be crossed, but it was very doable. St. Lucia was very welcoming. They're still restricted. There are restrictions down there because they're such a small island and just not equipped to deal with what could potentially become a COVID nightmare. So their protocols are very strict. Masking was everywhere. There are no land-based tours happening right now in St. Lucia, but all water-based activities are open. So, I stayed at Sandals Grand St. Lucian, absolutely amazing experience. Like I said, everybody was very welcoming, and it was a quick trip, very, very quick trip. And I came back to the time change and then got my vaccination last weekend. So I'm a little tired, but we're plowing through. So if you have questions about that travel, feel free to message me because it really was not a negative or difficult experience at all. So that's kind of the updates that we have for the travel industry right now. Where are our clients going? They're going everywhere. Just yesterday, we booked Las Vegas. We booked Broken Bow, Oklahoma. We booked Cancun. And in the pipeline right now, we have Jamaica. We have some more Cancun travel. We have some Dominican Republic travel in the pipeline. And we have a number of beach requests for either resorts and or condominiums. Remember, we can help through some of our suppliers with those condos and vacation rentals. If you can find it on VRBO, we have a supplier that supplies VRBO. So let us handle the headache of that. But those demands are huge. So what I'm going to tell everybody is domestic travel is super hot. Beach locations, especially Florida, are our number one request for family vacations for this summer. A few requests for the mountainous regions. People want to go north for a little bit of cool, like if you saw Angie, our associate, travel over the past weekend, she spent a weekend in Hot Springs and she shared some amazing pictures. If you haven't had a chance to look at them, because Hot Springs is a very popular destination. Branson, not so much in the summer, more in the spring and fall. I want people to remember also that there's other beach locations you can go to. The coast of Texas, especially Padre Island, Corpus Christi area. In Florida, don't forget about the Forgotten Coast. So if you watched my travels in the end of January, go to Cape St. Blas, I'll be heading back at the end of April, hopefully with some warmer weather to explore some more down there. So watch for that. Lots of people heading to Disney and Universal, a lot. We have clients leaving this week. We have clients leaving next week. And our Disney Universal specialist, Melissa, is staying very busy with keeping up with those requests. So as a matter of fact, Disney is so packed this for spring break that there are basically no park reservations to be had for a certain time frame during spring break. So exciting, supply and demand. If you're going to travel in the next 3 to 4 months, if you're planning any kind of vacation, and this is not just me, the salesperson talking, this is me, your travel advisor, giving you a bit of advice. Do not wait to book something. What I'm seeing when I'm quoting trips is I'm seeing changes from 1 minute to 10 minutes later. It's all about supply and demand, and there's only so much supply for all the demand. A large percentage of our population is going to stay domestic, so they're looking for those popular domestic locations. Do not wait to book it until a week prior. For instance, I'm going to use Pensacola, Navarre Beach, Destin as an example. I had a return client contact me for booking a hotel room, simple hotel stay for a wedding that she's going to be in the Navarre Beach area. Um, there are really no hotel rooms to be found under $225 to $250 a pop for the weekends in June that she's going to be there. Um, that's not budget friendly for a lot of people, especially when you're traveling with a family. So, and that went up from a week ago when I looked for somebody else. And the demand is so high that every time I look, there are less properties available. There are less hotels. There are less resorts. So you need to plan ahead. Do not wait for that last minute travel. Pricing terrific right now for the Sedona, Flagstaff, Phoenix, Tucson, and Vegas destinations. I have recommended those destinations for a couple people. I have some people looking at the Lake Tahoe area in California. So there are other places to travel. Some states still have some specific travel requirements, New York and Massachusetts in particular. But most states are starting to dial back on those restrictions. But we can help you navigate through those. Again, do not wait. If you're even thinking about travel for the summer, it's time to get it on the books. Um, and if you book it far enough out, you don't have to pay for it in advance, except for vacation rentals. And normally, they require almost everything up front. If there's a deposit, it's usually at least a 50% deposit. So be prepared for that. Um, I want to remind everybody also, if you can see over, I'm going to moving this way, over my shoulder there, the beautiful basket. That's our March booking giveaway basket. Right now, we have probably about close to 20 people that have already been entered into that drawing that booked in the month of March. They don't necessarily have to travel in the month of March, but they've booked with us. They've deposited or paid in full a trip for the future in the month of March. Remember, if you are one of those people, if you share that and you refer somebody, you double your entry. The basket includes a number of products from Swamp Spice, a $25 Amazon gift card, and some T-shirts from Great White Travels and Associates, and some other cruise planner swag that we've put together. So at the end of the month, March 31st, actually I'll probably draw it April 1st to be fair, because we've been booking late into the evening. A lot of people can't get to us until before or after work. So we're kind of flexible with our hours. So get those bookings in, and if you've booked with us, refer somebody. Shelly, I went through the COVID vaccine cruising details at the beginning of the video, but I'll recap it really quickly for you. The cruises that have resumed with Royal and Celebrity in the Caribbean, remember, they're not touching US ports. They're only in the Caribbean. And because they are traveling to small destinations, small islands that are not equipped medically to handle a COVID emergency, the requirements for those cruises are either A, you must have a vaccination, proof of vaccination, B, big word in there is or, negative PCR, or have recovered from COVID in the past 6 months. So, or in the past year, I think I'll have to look at that definition. So it's either or, it's not just the vaccine. So you can have had the vaccine, you can have the proof of negative PCR, or the recovery from COVID. And then each island is going to possibly require, some additional restrictions. There has been no discussion by any of the major cruise lines yet of what is going to take place when they sail from US ports. So the only cruise lines that have mandated a vaccination across the board are Crystal and American Steamboat. And those are primarily, again, because they're small cruise lines and their clientele is typically 65 or above, and they are more at risk. So there has been no announcements from the major cruise lines for U.S. port sailing requirements. So we are watching that. I spent probably the first hour while drinking coffee this morning reading the latest push to the CDC, watching some videos on the questioning by the Alaskan senator of the CDC and when things are going to open up. So at this time, U.S. ports, there has been no release of that information. So I hope that answers your question, Shelley. Thank you for that. So I think that's it for this morning. I didn't want to keep everybody too long. We're just at 20 minutes. Remember, if you've booked with us in the month of March, refer somebody. If they book with us, you get double the entries. And I'm looking forward to pulling the winner on that on April 1st. We will be closed Easter weekend. So Good Friday, the Saturday and the Sunday, we will be closed. We have been working 10 to 12-hour days to work with our clients. So it's been wonderful. It feels great to be back in the travel, riding that travel bicycle. And we really appreciate our clients in hanging on, giving us the opportunity. We've seen some new clients coming in, and it's been a wonderful experience. Remember, if you're thinking about travel in the next 3 to 4 months, especially domestic, don't wait to book it. The supply and demand is outstanding right now. I've seen pricing in Key West triple since the end of February. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be a popular destination because if people don't want to go to the Caribbean, what's the next best thing? The Keys. Having lived there, I can testify to that. But the pricing right now it's skyrocketing. So keep in mind when you plan that travel, get with us as soon as you can. You can message us on our page. You can email us. We are starting to divvy up our requests. We've got 3 associates with us, and we're trying to start streamlining which associate is going to specialize in which product. Obviously, we have a Disney Universal specialist already. We're looking at the Carnival specialist, Royal Caribbean, all-inclusives, family travel. That it's so hugely popular, and we love itinerizing those family travel packages. It's one of our favorite things to do because you're making memories with your family when you travel. So thanks for that. I'm thinking there was another comment, but I'm not seeing it. So again, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know if you have questions. This ran a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I wanted to make sure we hit all those highlights. So again, join me at the end of April. Watch our travel through Cape St. Blas. Looking forward to that. And if you're traveling with us and you're leaving in the next week or so, please post pictures on our Facebook page. We love to see our clients traveling and having a great time. So with that, have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll talk to everybody soon, and let's get traveling.